Thank you for coming up. Hi. Hi, Pam. So let me take a look. How is it filling this out for you?
Well, a little bit more difficult because we have 4 children, so we have to fit our one that's on the spectrum within the other 4. So our bedtime routines lately have been not the best.
Can I get you to put the microphone just a bit closer to your mouth?
So this is really helpful. What you listed, first of all, you checked off all the different activities, and it looks like most of them do occur, maybe with the exception of the singing of the quiet songs. And then there weren't really any others. So this fit pretty well, what you do. That's great. And then taking a bath is easy and stimulating, okay? And then washing hair is easy and stimulating. And then changing into PJs, getting a drink, brushing teeth, using the bathroom are easy and relaxing. And then the reading is easy but stimulating. I'm curious, why do you think the reading is stimulating? Is it?
Because it gets his mind going on the story, and
Yeah.
then he tends to focus on that, and then that's what he's thinking about when he goes to bed.
Right, exactly. That happens to a lot of us as adults too. If we've got a really good novel we can't put down. And do you ever find that if he were to read a familiar book, that would happen less or not necessarily?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think regardless
Yeah.
of what he reads. Okay. And I'm curious, in terms of his bedtime routine now, what is he currently doing? Do you have a bedtime routine in place right now, or?
Well, for us, generally, we do our baths right after supper, and then I will sit down and read with him or them, whatever, while the others are watching a show or whatever, just to calm down after supper. And then right before bed, we brush our teeth, go to the bathroom, get a drink, and then into bed, hugs and kisses from mom and dad. Hopefully good night, and lately, no.
Right, right, okay. So it sounds like you've really, before you said the lately no, I was gonna say, wow, you've really gotten organized.
4 kids, yes.
Yeah, you've put the reading, the reading, which is stimulating early on, the taking the bath is even earlier on, and then you put all the relaxing activities and easy activities next. But the best laid plans go astray. Even doing that, you're finding. So tell me what's going on. So after you do all of that, does your child seem relaxed?
He does.
He does.
I
Okay.
think it's more his younger siblings who are twins.
Yes.
So, and they share a room. So right at this point, that is our problem. Because
Right.
then they get going, and his room's right next door. Our problem with him is that his hearing is super sensitive, and so as soon as he hears anything, he's awake or he's having trouble going to sleep.
Got it. So if it weren't for them being next door, this might be working really well.
Yes.
It's one of the key questions I always ask when we put the bedtime routine together is the child actually unwinding? That concept we talked about this morning of trying to turn your brain off, is the child calming down? And I think in this case, it is successful.
it is, yeah.
The challenge is the siblings next
Yes.
door. So that's kind of a separate issue. So the question I would have, so he's how old?
He's 7 now.
And how old are his siblings?
5.
5, okay. So the question would be whether we could put a bedtime routine together for them,
That's
right?
what we're thinking. Well, we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a pretty strong bedtime routine. It's just getting them right. They're just, I don't know. It's that age, I guess. They just think bedtime's a joke.
Right.
Playtime.
Would they be able to go to bed earlier than him in terms
That's
of?
what we're thinking, because
Yeah.
as of right now, because he wakes up through the night, that's his issue, is that he does not sleep through the night. He wakes up about 3 o'clock and he's in his room. He doesn't wake us up, but he's awake, and then you can tell at school and whatever that he hasn't had a good night's sleep. So we're thinking, from what we've gotten from you, is that we'll probably extend his bedtime from 7 to 8, and then hopefully the twins will have settled by then, and then he can get in and do his thing.
Yeah, that's what I would aim for, because if you can get them to bed and maybe use the bedtime routine worksheet with them, get them settled down, let him do an activity that's calming, that isn't stimulating, and kind of get him through. Or the other way to do it is he could be doing his reading while you're getting them to bed, and then as soon as they're in bed and settled and asleep, you can then you could finish the rest of the bedtime routine with the PJs, the drink, and everything else. That might work. And then there's a fourth child in all of this,
He's
right?
the older child.
Right.
He's pretty laid back.
He's pretty laid back.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Very good. Okay. So this was an example where we really didn't change very much at all. You're doing a great job with it. It was just trying to figure out how to work it with the other kids. Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
I wanted to share one of the questions I got during the break, which I thought everybody could benefit from. It was a child who had trouble winding down no matter what. It was a 3-year-old, very articulate, high-functioning, was actually enjoying a yoga and meditation type video or audio before bed. Was getting into it, but it just didn't relax him. He was still really wound up, even listening to this. And really any activity tried was stimulating. And so what I suggested is pairing that activity, which I thought was great, the idea of doing a yoga meditation type audio, pairing it with a small dose of melatonin, like 1 milligram of melatonin, with the idea that the melatonin would allow the child to relax and learn, because they had really tried every activity, and it wasn't like he didn't enjoy it, the activity, it just, he was still wound up after it. And then the idea was, if we could pair it with the melatonin, it would allow him to actually calm down and relax, potentially absorb more of the information from the audio and the sounds on the audio. And then you could try to withdraw the melatonin over time, but it would give him the opportunity to learn to relax and incorporate that relaxing activity into his routine. So, just something to think about with that.
Any other questions before we take a break? Or anyone who wants to do one of the questionnaires? Let me ask them and then yeah. I'm sorry, you had
You had listed up there sleep anxiety. Are you going to talk at all, do you ever do any if they're having a ruminating thought before bedtime? Do you do anything like thought replacement of a more neutral thought or anything with that with higher functioning individuals?
That's a good question. So the idea is, with sleep anxiety and ruminating thoughts, particularly if the child has language, do we ever replace it? And I do. I think I would put this under the category of, either building into the bedtime routine or even apart from the bedtime routine, outside of it, before you start the bedtime routine, trying to come up with substituting activities. So there's some really nice books, there's some really nice tapes that you can make available to parents where, one of them is just 5 good minutes in the evening where there are sleep sections that just have like these mantras where the child can basically take all of their ruminating thoughts, put them in a balloon, watch, visualize the balloon drifting off. I've used that on occasion with the higher functioning kids, with the kids with a lot of language. And it's been very successful. What you want to do sometimes is have them practice it at other times during the day, and then either build it into the bedtime routine as one of the earlier activities, or make it like a pre-bedtime routine activity where they engage in it. It kind of winds them down. It helps them separate the day from the night, and then you can move forward with the rest of the bedtime routine. Okay.